You read that correctly. I purchased 10 items from the most recent Sephora spring sales event, and originally I had plans to just buy one product, and that was the Danessa Groundworks Blooming Romance palette. I did buy her alongside other couple of things, and I had my reasons. And I say that because this wasn't an impulsive purchase. A lot of these items were on my radar for a long time, ever since January. And because I had the opportunity to apply 20% off, even though I am VIB, one of my clients was nice enough to send me a 20% off referral code that I was able to shop early with and apply 20% despite me just being VIB. And I had a $100 gift card to apply to my total. So that's why I went a little crazy. And considering the fact that I didn't purchase anything last month and I didn't buy these items when they first released throughout the year, I thought it was sensible to finally buy them with the discount, with the gift card. In total, I spent around $250, and that even bring me up to Rouge. It still keeps me at VIB, which I'm totally fine with, but I was quite excited for this purchase. I couldn't wait for my package to arrive, and each and every one of these items I had a reason behind purchasing. Just wanted to give you a little bit of B-roll in unpacking everything. You know, you get that high when the box arrives and you're taking everything out of their little boxes. Unfortunately, my Rare Beauty Soft Pinch blush got crushed in transit. I purchased it in the shade Love. Hopefully I can exchange it for an intact soft blush. We'll see, because I feel these are one of the hotter items sought after during the sale. Don't know if one will be available in store, but I can sure try. And funny story, I'll get started in a minute. I wanted to get a early ship out advantage by ordering midnight when the sale went live. I set my alarm for 11:58 p.m. and refreshed at midnight. Why wasn't the sale live? It kept denying my code. It was like, sale hasn't started yet. I'm like, you guys. Went back to bed and without an alarm woke up at 4. If I didn't, my beloved Prada Eye Dimensions eye quad could have been sold out, because as I was checking now, I read that dreaded red label, few left, hurry up. I'm like, oh God, place order, place order. So we got Pulse, and that's what I have on my eyes for this video. Listen, I wanted the Prada ever since she dropped in January. I had my eyes on this brand, not for all the items, but I had my eye on the eye dimensions and the lipstick, because for some reason the eye dimension curations were just captivatingly beautiful. The arrangement of shades and also the various types of textures included in these eye quads enchanted me, as well as their lipsticks, specifically the soft matte formula. They also have Prada Beauty, I'm speaking about the hyper matte formula, and I have a few hyper matte moments in my collection. Well, I call them hyper matte. For instance, Lisa Eldridge True Velvet, Freck Beauty Makeout Club, the Haus Labs Monster Crayon. So I wanted a different formula to play with, and I was teeter-tottering between Caramel and Sedona. And am I thrilled to have decided on Caramel? It's described to be a cool nude brown, but it is basically my lip color, but like softer matte blurring and better. Sedona could have looked probably more pink red on me, which could have been something. I'm not totally opposed to that, but I much rather prefer this tone, a little more desaturated and a little more cool leaning, and not so pink ish warm, I guess Sedona would look like. And yes, this lipstick is $50, and I had talked crap about the Westman Atelier, saying that $50 was quite a lot for a lipstick, but listen, I don't care for the hearts on the lip bullet, okay? The shades overall from the Prada Soft Matte line were more appealing to me, and I am happy with the shade. I couldn't be happier, and I am thrilled with the shade. I'm happy to have decided on Caramel. Excuse me, I'm going on a little bit of a tangent. I'll further describe my feelings about the soft matte when we get to the swatches and all that. And I thought I would show the Natasha Denona Hy-Glam Skincare Infused Glow Beautifier. I decided to purchase that as well, although not from the Sephora sale. I thought because I was unpacking everything and it arrived at the same time my Sephora package did, I wanted to show you how it looked fresh out of the box, and with an untouched pan. It's an interesting product. If I were to compare it to the Dior, I prefer the Dior, but I'll get into my more express details when we get to that demo. And as you see, I was excited for the Prada. Look at the reflectivity of this compact. Hi! You have the silver and gold accents, a small lip to open the magnetic compact. The textures are sublime, and the color choices, my goodness, I had a hard time choosing which one I wanted to purchase. I'm happy I went with 03 Pulse. There's something about that vibrant orange with the taupey lavender and that taupe metallic with the deep plum burgundy. It just works well together. And of course, we have the Prada soft matte lipstick in caramel. The lipstick bullet is extraordinarily beautiful. It almost looks like fabric in terms of how the lipstick was embossed, and you have the Prada triangle shape on the tip of the lipstick for that application angle. And we got the Color Fuse Haus Labs in Fire Moon. When it comes to these shades, I had to get it. The fact that the compact is smaller, it's matte, and I do love the Color Fuse blush formula. This is reformulated, by the way, not the same from their previously released blushes when Haus Labs first dropped, and a little softer, because a Haus Labs formula from before with the larger compact is a little more hard pressed in the pan. These have better pickup, and interesting how Hibiscus Haze would now blend with this talc-free formula, but I'm gonna stick to Fire Moon for now. And my beloved Rare Beauty blush, I had to show it Crush. I was devastated, but still wanted to show a swatch. Love that terracotta color, and the shade is called Love. Go figure. I could attempt to apply it, but I think it will be too much product on the brush because it is now crushed, and it will just be a mess. So I'm gonna leave that alone. Just still wanted to show you the swatch. Couldn't wait to get into the Dior Star Filter. I purchased 3N, which is a medium with neutral undertone. The LYS Higher Standard. The Cream Glow Blush Stick I purchased in Focus because Warm Cinnamon Pink, I think, was the shade description, and it's a favorite. I'm just gonna, spoiler alert. The Glossier Cloud Tint. Okay, hear me out, friends. I found this appealing because it reminded me of an old Benefit product. It was called Glamazon. I don't know if you remember this, but it was a liquid bronze, just came in one shade. And it was appealing to me because using a liquid gel type product, I think, imbues that truer tan look than a powder does. And I'm not saying bronzer powders now on the market are chalky and dry on the skin. They are exceptional, but there's something about a liquid or gel texture, even cream texture, when it comes to bronzing products that I think just looks a little more natural on the skin. It just has more of that tan look on the complexion. And I heard that the Cloud Paint from Glossier was one of their more fabulous products from the entire line. Not everything hits, but the Cloud Paints are a fan favorite. And the bronze line, I purchased this in Swept, and I was excited with this little swatch I did on my arm. I like the color, the feel of it. It's fragrance free. The Dior Star Filter actually is not fragrance free. Someone has said it was, but it is not. It's not terribly overwhelming. I just wanted to put that in there. I was excited to try this later on the B-roll, and I got the Kulfi, the Mendhi Moment Cream Blush in Sandalwood Swirls. I had my eye on this product for a long time, and funny, when I unboxed it, I questioned whether this tube was empty because it was so lightweight. I think the texture is very creamy mousse-like, and here's a quick swatch of the color. Of course, I have B-roll applying the shade, and our beloved Danessa Myricks Groundwork in Blooming Romance. I had to show you it untouched. These shades just exceeded my expectations, even more beautiful in person. And wait until we get into the demo. Wanted to get the Precisely My Brow Wax. I am a huge fan of the Goof Boot pencil, and I was excited to try it with the pencil, but you'll see that I applied it over the pencil I already had applied earlier that morning, and it does give my brow that thickety thick look. All right, it gives it girth and a little bit of fluff, so excited to show you that as well. Couldn't wait to get into these products and had to slap on the Prada Beauty Soft Matte, and you already see how I'm a fan of caramel. And I'm looking at this footage now, and as I was filming, I wasn't crazy about how I appeared on my viewfinder because it was later in the day. I still wanted to show this in just different lighting because you just never know. I adore the shade. I adore the shade, and yes, because it is a luxury beauty product, it does have fragrance, not crazily overwhelming. I can tolerate it, and as I wear it more, I'll just become more used to the scent. It's incredible. This texture, although matte, it's almost like a matte balm. It's conditioning despite that it's matte. It wraps my lips, it doesn't feel dry, quite comfortable to wear over the course of the day, lovely to reapply. And again, it is like my lip color, but just more enhanced. And it's nice to have a matte product, a lip matte product that delivers that color and feel without necessarily being satin glossy, because typically I encounter those lip but better shades more often in shinier lip formulas. But with a matte is tough because the matte shade, the matte formula and finish tends to be a little more color rich. And when it comes to this color, it ends up being in like a hyper matte formula, for instance, that Prada also offers. More pink, more brown. This is right where it needs to be in terms of feel, in terms of color richness. It's not going to be as color rich as Lisa Eldridge True Velvet, or even the Hourglass Unlock Soft Matte, which I will get into comparison soon, is perfect. Is absolutely perfect in terms of texture and of color. And I'll quickly show you. Here's the Prada Beauty Soft Matte in caramel and described again as a cool brown nude. The Hourglass Unlock Soft Matte in Sparrow described as a deep neutral rose. The Freck Beauty Makeout Club Soft Blur Lipstick in main character described as a rose brown. Haus Labs Le Monster Crayon Maple Matte, and that's described as a warm peach brown. And Lisa's Meet Me in Berlin, her luxuriously lucent, described as a rich tan. Just wanted to show that color in comparison to the others here. And here is Lisa's True Velvet in Sorcery, described as a dusky clay rose. Prada in Caramel, Hourglass Unlock Sparrow, Makeout Club, Le Monster Haus Labs, Meet Me in Berlin, and Sorcery. You see how Prada is a little more pink leaning, softer than Sparrow, and more pink than main character. Main character is like more on the warmer side, which I like. I love that lipstick because when I reviewed it, I think I purchased it during another sales event years ago, or maybe it was just off the cuff. But I like the texture, I like the color. It was another My Lips But Better, but there's something about caramel that's insanely special because the undertone is pink, but the overall dominating tone is like a brown nude. And Sparrow is a little more rich, is giving a little more rose, and that's something I like to wear too. I had expressed several times how I thoroughly enjoy Sparrow. I've been wearing it on a bare face. It definitely plumps up my lip a little bit more than Prada Caramel does. But this is a great moment to wear no makeup with, or even with a little bit of makeup. If you want to see Sparrow in action, because I get it, I'll apply it over Prada, yeah? This is going to give the lip a little more girth and color richness, especially if I apply the Candid lip liner. It's going to give it a little more structure and contrast and definitely refine the overall look on the lip more. So if you want it a little more color, then you can go with Hourglass Sparrow. But man, the Prada is goated. It is certainly goated, and I'm happy with the one color. I know I can purchase more because the refills I don't think cost as much as lipstick component and refill included, but I still got my eye on Sedona. It's still speaking to me. Then I had to go in with Dior Star Filter. Again, this is in the shade 3N. Immediately from the swatch, smooth texture, and I went straight in to my skin. I don't have anything on prior to this application. I just wanted to see its role as a skin enhancer, what it does without any color complexion products, and it does leave behind a lovely glow, and it feels great on the skin, easy to blend and apply with my fingers. As you see, if I wanted to just rely on the product, I can, and you can still see my blemishes, but if overall I wanted my complexion to have a bit of a glow and not look dull, then I can rely on the star filter for that. I decided, however, to mix it with my Suqqu foundation because I had my eye on the Lisa Eldridge skin tint. I'm thinking about getting T10, but I haven't pulled the trigger yet. I wanted to see if Suqqu, when mixed with the Dior, can give me a little bit of a skin tint moment, and it kind of does, but I think the Suqqu is a little more it's just too pigmented for that role. But here, I mean, apply with fingers, it blurred out my blemishes, it evened out my skin tone. It still has a little bit of a highlight effect on the high points of my face, and I decided to plop on the Hy-Glam Beautifier. This product is interesting. In my head, I thought it would be more balm-like. It's still a powder balm hybrid. I'll look more into it when I film with that product exclusively. It's okay, and I say that because it definitely performs better on moisturized skin. I wouldn't apply this on my skin dry, but that was implied, I think, from my standpoint, when I saw Natasha's demos on IG, that it was something that you would use before foundation, much like the star filter from Dior. I would still treat this as a highlighter. I wouldn't apply it before makeup, or if I did, would have to make sure my skin is thoroughly prepped. And I'm talking going in with my essence, going in with moisturizer, so the Beautifier texture has something to blend into and it doesn't look as dry and powdery as you can kind of see here. So I treat this Beautifier as a highlighter, and I would better rely on my Dior filter as a prep step for my skin, although I still prefer it over moisturizer. And you'll see in a later demo that I apply the Dior after I applied my Essence and Peach and Lily moisturizer, which I think leads to a better overall outcome. Now going in with the Glossier Cloud Paint, and I was excited and wanted to test this out with a finger application, tappity tap tap. Was pleased to discover that the finger application did not appear splotchy or uneven, and I am delighted by that tan effect that I wanted from Glamazon, but that texture was just tough to work with. It was a liquid, the brush was small, it was hard to maneuver a Glamazon around your face in a way that didn't look splotchy and weird. It worked better on bare skin because the liquid, I thought, took away from the foundation if you had any on before, but the Glossier Cloud Paint in Swept is outstanding. I was pleasantly surprised by his performance, and my goodness, when you see me apply it again later with a brush, apply the Kulfi Cream Blush next, and Sandalwood Swirls is described to be a neutral mauve, which I think interesting because on me, it reads a little more winey mauve, and I like it. I like the color, the texture is matte, and I thought the application was even with a finger tap, and it blended well with the Glossier Cloud Sweep. I'm like combining words. Cloud Paint in Sweep. But then I went in with the LYS Higher Standard Glow Cream Blush Stick in Focused. I was delighted by not only the shade, but the texture. How easily it blended onto my skin, and what a beautiful sheen it left behind. When I first saw this product, I had the implication that it would be too shimmery and too glittery because that's the texture or the look I detected from the stick looking at the photos, but that's far from reality. This thing blended like butter. And yes, it is meant to be more of a glow product, but the finish left behind was not greasy or sticky in terms of feel. The finish had more of like an ethereal look to it, and happy that I went with the LYS and didn't buy the Dior Glow Maximizer because I also had that product on my radar. I don't think I need it now because I liken those products to be comparable in terms of the look you're trying to achieve when using those types of glow blush products. The LYS is fantastic. It's easy to apply, pigmented, but blends out easily, and you can build up the color to your liking without it looking heavy or shimmery, glittery, and textured on the skin. I was pleasantly surprised by this product. Then we wiped it off because I wanted to go in with the Haus Labs Color Fuse blush in Fire Moon, but wait, had to try on the Precisely My Brow wax, and I slapped it on over the Goof Proof pencil. I applied it that morning, and it's a product I will rely on for overall brow thickness and fluff. I would still have to use my Goof Proof to even out the base of my brow. As you can see here, is a little uneven on the base, but I do love the overall look of the brow. It has a little more texture there, a little more body, all right, which is why I contemplated getting my brows microbladed again, but that might have to wait because it's not in the budget. Don't mind using my Goof Proof first and then following up with the Precisely My Brow wax. I think it's a winning combination, and I like the brow wax more than Gimme Brow. I think Gimme Brow is still a live product from Benefit, and that product was similar to the brow wax, except it didn't have as much hold. It was more to give the brows fluff, a little bit of color and texture. The brow wax is giving all of those, including hold. So it's like you combine the Gimme Brow with their, what's the product called? It's the clear gel from Benefit, but it had more holding power. The 24-hour brow setter. Love that as well. So it's like the brow wax is giving best of both worlds. Instead of having to use two products, you could just rely on the brow wax for both those qualities. Now we're going in with the Fire Moon shade, which is described to be beige peach. Okay, listen, peach brown from the Le Monster Crayon. Now we got beige peach. I mean, come on. You know me, friends. Beautiful swatch, soft on the pickup, great on the blend. The color spreads evenly despite me applying this on a fresh Suqqu and Dior cocktail mix that I put there on my face. Great performing blush, and I think better than their first roundup of blushes. The texture is softer, more pickup from the pan, but not so much that you have to blend for days. Exceptional. And I also wanted to show you how it looked like color-wise to the LYS. And LYS is giving a little more like pink, you know, because again, focus is the cinnamon pink or warm cinnamon pink. I forgot what it was described to be. It's giving more pink, and definitely Fire Moon more beige, but more of a desaturated peachy beige, you know, thinking Melt Cream Blush Light and Sandy Cheeks, or even Vital Surgeon's Ember. Smolder? I think it's Smolder. Smolder is like that burnt peach. Kindle, another go-to shade, cinnamon peach. You see the trend here? Okay. And then I decided to slap on the LYS Glow Blush on top of Fire Moon because realistically, because I got all the blush products now, I'll be combining everything, right? If I wanted that more burnt peach here on the majority of my cheek and a little more glow, I'm gonna slap on the LYS lower on my face. Then I had to get into my beloved Prada Eye Dimensions Quad Impulse. I prepped my lids first with the Linda Till the End primer, and here are some quick swatches of Pulse. Woo, look at that metallic shade. I was excited. Now you'll see this swatch from the orange and you're like, wait a minute. Listen, the reason why it's like that is because you can achieve these more washes of color on the eyes that don't look so blunt and heavy. And you'll see here on the demo that I was able to build up the color quite nicely. Okay, I wanted to apply it on the majority of my outer lid for that more blown out effect. Followed with this soft satin, like taupe lavender. It's not lavender pastel. It has more of like that cool lavender feel, but the way it applied on my lid was virtually effortless. It adhered well, spread well, and I wanted to take the more hyper matte formula in this deep burgundy plum along the lash line. Wanted to take the satin all over my lid to see how it would appear as a one and done color moment, followed by the hyper matte on the outer lid for additional smoke. And I decided maybe a good idea to apply some concealer now, since I haven't from the beginning of this B-roll. Then applied that metal shade over the satin, and the vibrant orange on the inner arc in a sweeping fashion. Oh my gosh. Decided to reapply my foundation, and you saw I slapped on the metal shade on the inner corner for the first eye. Cloud Tint bronze with the brush here, as I mentioned before, that you will see. Isn't that a lovely application? Given the fact that this product is like a gel cream, it's liquidy, not like runny liquidy. It has some nice body to it, but it doesn't look splotchy. And that's what I was expecting, because when you use a brush with that type of product, sometimes it can pick up the foundation from underneath, but that didn't happen with the cloud paint. It just applied evenly, and maybe it's largely due to the brush I chose, and this is the BK Beauty and Nikki LaRose collab brush that I don't know if it's still available, I'm sorry, but something that synthetic, long, bristled, medium density I think is fantastic with the cloud paint. And then I wanted to go with Blooming Romance, because I come on, and applied it higher on the cheekbones in this more coral rose shade for like that, you know, blush bracket look, followed with the Hy-Glam Beautifier for some highlight here on top. And here is the finished look. I slapped on my Auric lashes. Listen, you know how when you buy things and you have high expectations, you couldn't wait for your package to arrive. You try everything on and everything hits. It hits. I absolutely love how my makeup turned out. And of course, I had to do more demos again. And as I'm yapping, I'll start the Blooming Romance demo. This is my immediate reaction. I knew that Blooming Romance would be far easier to use than Defining Neutrals, because I feel the Blooming Romance shades are easier to work with. They're not as constricted as Defining Neutrals, because if you have to experiment with Defining Neutrals in finding out, identifying the right undertone that you want to use for your contouring purposes, for your bronzing purposes, Blooming Romance you could pretty much slap anywhere, even the deeper plummy shades that when you'll see I applied on the hollows of my cheeks for more of like a sculpt moment. And if you haven't used the Velvet Pomade before, it is formulated to provide color payoff, but lightly initially. So you have control over the intensity when applying Velvet Pomade in layers so that it doesn't look heavy, but that color intensity can be built up beautifully without it looking muddy on the skin. And you can't go wrong with, you know, wines, burgundy, rose shades, that peach shade Desire that I applied at the beginning. And I wanted to compare it to Dreamy, which was more of like a carnation, warm pink. And then I slapped on, I think it was Smitten or Allure on the edges of Dreamy to have like that soft lavender lilac gradient. Oh my gosh. Adorn. I mean, I forgot what I did. You could see on the B-roll just how beautiful the final look turned out. And I primarily used the deeper plum shades. I guess you would describe this to be like eggplant plum as you get to the deeper shades in Blooming Romance, primarily on my eyes, the outer corners, through the crease to create a little bit of smoke. Incredible. Blooming Romance, I have no regrets, no regrets. The minute I saw the sneak peeks on the internet, I was like, it has to be mine. It completely exceeded my expectations, even though I knew what to expect with given my experience with Defining Neutrals. I'm happy that I used that palette first so that I could get better acquainted with the Velvet Pomade and the Shape and Fix powders. Now to have that formula, but in these colors, you can't screw this up. It just makes it insanely easy. And granted, you're correct. Having Blooming Romance, I should just need this and did not need to buy the LYS, the Haus Labs, the Rare Beauty. 100%. I think they're lovely additions, especially since I can cocktail them, because again, the LYS is a glow product. I could use it with Blooming Romance if I want a little more sheen, a little more and the Dior Star Filter. When I apply that again today, okay, over my essence and moisturizer this time. Yes, you can still see my blemishes, but I loved how, yes, enhanced my complexion looked after applying the star filter. And the consistency is just lovely. I also wanted to show you how the shades compare to the Auric Glow Lust. I have Sunstone, which is a medium neutral, Pyrite, a light medium olive. I didn't do Citrine because Citrine was a part of their first wave of shades that they released when the brand first launched. It says it's medium warm, but it's more of like an orange on me. It's a little too warm, unfortunately. That's why when Sunstone released, that aligned more with my undertone than Citrine. And with the Dior, I went with 3N because I wanted to rely on this product also as a highlight one. 4N would have provided a warmer complexion overall with that soft focus filter effect, but I would not have been able to use it as a highlighter. And considering that this is an expensive product, I not only wanted to rely on it as a complexion enhancer, but for highlighting purposes. And my goodness, it beautifully blends on my cheekbones. It is an exceptionally formulated product. The Dior Star Filter, do I like it more, the Auric? And I do enjoy it more than the Lisa Eldridge liquid highlighter, because I remember some people were having trouble with that. And believe it or not, the Dior Maximizer, Glow Maximizer, kind of reminded me of the Lisa Eldridge texture, but I don't know for sure because I just tried one shade. Don't know if the formula consistency is across all the shades. The Dior Star Filter, as many of you said, is exceptional. Happy now to have it in my collection. And I wanted to do another demo with the Prada Eye Dimensions in Pulse. What can I say? I am thoroughly pleased with this haul, and I'm happy that I was thoughtful about it, deliberate with my choices, and was able to purchase products that, again, I had my eye on for a long time. There were several times throughout the year that I want to buy something, I want to try something. I mean, I had my gift card since my birthday back in January, and I said, don't spend it, even though it's not your money. And when Blooming Romance first dropped, I thought about buying it then, but I'm like, wait a minute, if you could get 20% off and also use your gift card, it'll be worth the wait. And I'm happy that I held on, bought what I needed to buy. And this is it, because the 20% off discount could only be used once. That's the trade-off, right? Even though on VIB, I was able to shop with the other rouges, okay, on the 5th. I was able to apply 20%, was one-time use. If I wanted to continue shopping the Sephora sales event, I would have to wait my turn and just get 15% off. But I'm like, that's why I made sure the one and only purchase was a chunky one. It was an intentional one. I am thrilled with all the products that I purchased, and I will be doing 2 more videos from this haul. Exclusive video going over the swatches and different looks you can achieve with Blooming Romance, as well as a dedicated video checking out the different blush shade comparisons now with these new blushes that they have entered the terracotta family. We're gonna look at Paradise Venus, we're gonna look at the Final Surgeons blushes, and a few others that I have in my collection that reminded me of Fire Moon, of Sandalwood Swirls, of Focus, and a little bit of Blooming Romance in there, as well as the Rare Beauty that hopefully I could get in exchange for and have it in time for that video. You'll probably will see a short applying these products, but my goodness, let me know what you all bought from the sale if you're just doing that one huge purchase and will not participate for the remainder of the sale. If there is one item I will end up buying, even with 15% off, is the pattern mousse. I love the mousse for my twists, and I am running out. I've used around 3 bottles of that stuff. So it is a heavily used product. I'm happy to repurchase since I have previously. That will probably be the only product that I would buy after my 20% off purchase. And listen, if there are other products that end up going live on the sale, that's too bad. Will I end up buying another Prada refill? The Prada refills are $65, I believe, and the compact and palette is $80 in total. Why I needed to get it now, because I ain't gonna spend $80 full price, okay? So that is what's coming up. Let me know what you decided to buy during the sale, or you're skipping it. Any other specials that are coming up that we should know about. I'll see you down in those comments. And until then, that is a wrap. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video helped. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up or maybe consider subscribing to my channel. And until then, I will see you on here again with another review tutorial, maybe a Prada video. Definitely coming at you with more blooming romance. Take care, and I will see you again soon.